So my next guest in our Singapore studio needs no introduction. He is a man of mischief, changing the world one toilet at a time. I'm so excited to have Jack Sim in the studio, founder of the World Toilet Organization. That is just genius. You know you have arrived in life when you found the World Toilet Organization, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially it's called the WTO.
Yeah. It's just genius. So I want to know about your story. So tell us, Jack. So you were an entrepreneur. You started businesses at a very young age. How did you then end up doing this?
So I started because I failed everything in school, so there's no other place to do that. If you start a business, you don't need a diploma, right?
Yes.
So I make some money because doing business is so much easier than studying. And at 40, I start to ask myself, what's the purpose of life? You're going to die at 80, so you've already spent half of the time.
Yeah.
And I realized that I'm not spending money. The real currency of life is time. And if I finish spending the time, then I'm dead. And then it's all over.
And then it's over.
So what's the difference you can make between the time you arrive and the time you left this planet? So I thought the best exchange for time is service.
Okay.
And if I could find something that nobody wants to do, then that will be a service gap that is useful. And then I realized toilets. So it is like, toilet? Come on, is that a joke? And so it's like a lot of taboo has happened in history: women liberation, leprosy, slavery, LGBT, all kinds of things, AIDS. And before you can talk about it, it's a taboo. But after you can talk about it, it's normal.
It's normal.
So going to the toilet, come on, what can be more normal than that?
We all do it. We all do it, but yet we're so embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
Why are we so embarrassed about it?
Because we are having this so wholesome image of ourselves that we can't admit that we actually fart. And that we are able to produce a pungent smell. And what we don't understand is that the purpose of this is to protect us so that we don't go touch it or go near it, because shit is full of pathogens. And therefore, nature has designed a protection system, which is the smell.
Yes.
And I think we should thank that the design is such.
It's such. Thank nature.
Yeah.
I never knew I would be having such a serious conversation about poo. I mean, who knew? My life has changed.
Already? That's
Already.
very fast.
Very fast. Now, you say one of the things that you're most passionate about is getting people to break taboos and
Yes.
to talk about taboos. So do you think that the area, in terms of all that you're doing around toilets, actually impacts so many other taboos? Because once we get comfortable talking about the one that has been around the longest, as it were,
Yeah.
isn't it? Then that sort of impacts the rest, no?
I think so, because, for example, open defecation for women and girls has caused a lot of rape cases.
Yes, it has.
Because when they go out in the bush, in the open, they're not protected.
Yeah.
And then the guys saw that they were in undressed
Yeah.
position, and then they raped them.
Which is one of the main problems with war zones and so on. Yeah.
Yes, but even in villages, it's happening every day in India. Rape is like so often. And so if we break the taboo on toilets, then the woman has privacy, then safety, then the rape cases goes down. So that's another taboo, because very often when a girl is raped, they talk about why is she raped? Maybe she's been flirting. Maybe she didn't dress in a sari. She was in Western clothing that makes her look cheap or whatever. And they always focus on why the woman didn't prevent herself from being raped, rather than talking about the rape
The perpetrator.
the perpetrator and the whole society is ostracizing the girl. So that's another taboo. And not having a toilet would pollute the river. And the river is full of shit.
Yes.
And then it spread diseases.
Yes.
And then 1 million people die every year unnecessarily.
From polluted water.
So sanitation and hygiene is actually the cheapest medicine in the world because prevention is cheaper than
A
cure.
cure. Yep.
And what are doctors and nurses? They're just waiting for you to be sick before they can do something about it.
Yeah.
So you have to not see the doctor. So it's not like an apple a day will keep the doctor away. It is going to the toilet and washing your hands will keep the the doctors away.
In a clean way, we'll keep the doctors away.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how did you manage to convince the UN to actually create a World Toilet Day? And wasn't it one of the only votes where it was a unanimous vote?
Yeah, very rare. 193 countries all agree on something at the UN General Assembly. So it first started that we call it the World Toilet Day when we founded World Toilet Organization in 2001,
Yes.
19th of November. And because we call it the World Toilet Day, everybody started celebrating it.
World Toilet Day.
Yeah. And so the media love it and they write more and more about it, then everybody join in. So it's just a movement.
Yes.
Movement have no leaders. Everybody starts their own. Some are celebrating
Yes.
the unsung heroes,
Yes.
sending chocolates to their toilet cleaners on World Toilet Day. Some people are protesting in India about not having toilet, and in Africa about human rights for toilets. And then some ministers and politicians are cleaning up toilets for the media. Very good optics for votes winning.
Yeah.
And so this movement grew so fast that we get 3 to 4 billion outreach per year, and then
Really?
free of charge.
Free of charge.
And then we went to the UN to say, can you create a World Toilet Day and make this official? But if you don't, it continues to be very popular, but then this is so obvious because your SDG, your MDG are not working so well.
Yes.
And then we have to have lunch, dinner, receptions, and talk to every country. The Singapore Ministry of Foreign Affairs was very helpful. They table it and they get every embassy to negotiate.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
lots of work. One whole year.
One whole year talking toilets with the UN. And here we are.
Yes.
So what should we all be doing on World Toilet Day? What is the one thing we should all do
I think
to make our toilets happier?
I think I'm like the Hugh Hefner
Of toilets.
right?
Yes.
If you can't talk about it,
Yeah.
it doesn't change. So if we can all talk about the issues. So in the city, you could say ladies are queuing up for the toilet. Why? Because the room is too small and the man has urinal, so we have to change the code of practice so that every building would have bigger ladies' toilet with more cubicles to compensate for the urinals that the men have. And that is a law that has to be changed.
Yep.
That's important to talk on World Toilet Day.
Yeah. Trans rights where toilets are concerned as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Trans rights, unisex toilets,
Yeah.
accessibility for handicap,
Yeah.
and there's so many types of handicap. It's not just on wheelchair.
No.
They are blind. There are people who are mentally challenged.
Yes.
There are so many different types, and you have to design it
With
to
that in
cater for it.
mind,
Yes.
yeah, mhm.
And then how about having treatment and not just have toilets so that the rivers get pristine and you can drink the water and you can bathe and you can wash laundry into it. And let's talk about labor rights and all the things around toilets and tourism toilet. Everybody
Needs a
can
toilet.
make a lot of money.
Yes.
If the tourism toilets goes up, the tourism goes up. So there's no end because we go to the toilet 6 to 8 times a day.
We do.
We spend 3 entire years of our life inside the toilet.
Oh my goodness.
So if this is not normal culture, then what is it?
Now, what is it?
We got to make it normal.
We've got to make it normal. I've got an important question for you, Jack. What's your toilet like?
I live in a very colonial house,
Yeah.
1936, so I have very old, ancient looking toilets.
Toilets, yeah.
But it's clean.
It's clean.
And it's nice. And I think it doesn't need to be fancy,
Okay.
but it has to be
Functional.
well cared and clean.
And
Yes.
clean. So you've got a nice old school toilet.
Yes.
Yes, well, I was very impressed. So when we were here, the toilets where we're staying are they called the Toto toilets, are they? The ones where they lift
The bidet toilet where they spray the water.
No, the one where the seat lifts up.
Yes.
Yes, I was so
Also.
impressed. I was expecting it to start saying my name and stuff and singing
Soon,
to me soon. AI in the toilets.
In fact, right now I'm working with some teams to use the toilet as a diagnosis to study your colorectal cancer
Yes.
or any diabetes and all the other diseases because the download is full of data.
Yes, that tells you what's going on in here, doesn't it?
Yes.
So then, and in all seriousness now, of course, we've been here in Singapore looking at how we encourage young people from all over the world to create businesses around the SDGs.
Yes.
So how does what you're doing link right through to the SDGs?
So there's another thing that I do is that we are creating what's called the Base of Pyramid Hub, which is essentially a World Trade Center for the poor. I'm building a 65,000 square feet World Trade Center of the poor building
Oh, wow.
right here in Singapore.
Singapore.
We want to coordinate all the best excellent model for poverty alleviation,
Wow.
business model, how to sell solar energy and then go village Wi-Fi and get them Android phone through microfinance so that they can have direct access to the market and cut out the middleman and then send children to school, healthcare, electricity, nutrition, drip irrigation, water, sanitation, everything.
Everything.
So what I think is that we need to integrate all the good ideas and not make them in silos.
Yes.
Right now, the NGOs and the social entrepreneurs started off wanting to do good but end up trying to please the donor. So you've not focused on solving the problem.
Yeah. You're just keeping the
then
money
you
happy.
Keep the money guys happy.
Yeah.
But if you are focused on solving the problem, you actually want to cooperate with everybody and freely let everybody copy you.
Yes.
And if everyone copy each other, suddenly the distribution channel become very efficient with one channel distributing 20, 30 products and services.
Yes.
But because of the way they are funded like
Yes.
favorite horses, then they don't cooperate. So I think we've got to change that one.
Yes, particularly in the development world, actually, there's not enough collaboration.
Yeah.
Which is what's so good about Unleash in terms of why we're here, is about bringing people together to work together, the next generation to work together.
Yeah. So when you want to work together, you have to take off your hero suit and throw it away and just be ordinary people and to give your ideas. And if you don't need to claim the credit,
Right.
imagine how big an impact you can do.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say, oh, but it's my idea. I worked so hard on it. How can I give it to somebody else? Then I have to remind them that they're actually going to die.
One
But
day.
if you are going to die, why don't you give it all away? And why don't you let other people use your idea? Because what did you want to do? You want the poor to get out of poverty. You want to improve their quality of life. Therefore, it's not you getting famous, you getting funding, but people getting out of poverty.
100%. So now, I want to know, obviously you have done a lot, a lot. Is there anything that you haven't done yet? That you
Oh,
think,
there's-
I wouldn't mind.
No, there's a lot. You'll never finish.
You never finish.
Never finish.
That's the goal of life.
I
is
think
it?
that at first I wanted to do toilet, and then I realized that we have to do all the other poverty alleviation. So now my role is to try to facilitate everybody to work with everybody else and to keep on explaining to them and reminding them what is their original mission
Yes.
when they join the social sector.
Yeah.
Because very often they forget and they keep on thinking, how do I pay salary to my staff? How do I continue to be very famous and all that? That's not the point. The point is, how do you become effective when everybody is an ecosystem?
Okay.
No winners, no losers, everybody wins together.
Everybody wins together.
Yeah.
I love that. So what I'd love to know is, where did you get your joy for life from? Because it's infectious, isn't it?
I guess if you don't need anything more, you would be very detached and very able to become a child again, because most people live entire life trying to seek approval from others, and by doing that you kind of stay in the status quo and you do not think of ideals when you are a very little boy
Yeah.
or girl. So if we can return to childhood every day, we can think of very, very good ideas and then just go out and do it. I was a naughty boy and I failed everything in school, so I think
Might as well
I'm-
carry on.
might as well.
Hey, let's just continue. So I want to know, have you got any toilet jokes? Do you kind of have to have any to sort of break the ice when you go in to talk to people about toilets?
No, most of the time I told them that, I started the WTO because I want to play a pun on the World Trade Organization. And I was hoping that the World Trade Organization will sue me so that this agenda will so
crisis.
high. And it was a success. And now I'm going to create a World Trade Center for the poor so that the World Trade Center will also sue me.
Yep.
But I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So did the other WTO sue you? No.
No,
They just thanked you, probably.
Pascal Lamy eventually met me at World Economic Forum, and he says, I know you.
Yeah.
You are the more powerful WTO. See?
So you got the notoriety without the lawsuits. Kind of cool, no?
No, you see, people don't sue anybody who has no money.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
So I'm all right then, am I? So what is next for you after your trade center for the poor?
I think it's to create a movement where everybody takes over, and then all of them becomes the champions for collaboration. You see, in a forest, there's zero waste. The trees' leaves becomes the fertilizer, helps the worms grow.
It's amazing. isn't it?
Everything is
Yeah.
zero waste. But in our man-made society, it's very wasteful, and the people are not collaborating. We have to move human society to be like a forest. We do not discriminate that, oh, only the panda are very beautiful, and the whales, and all the other small animals like the crocodiles, they are not important. All are important. We are part of the ecosystem, and we don't have the arrogance to say who's important. Everybody lives, coexist together, and survive and have good quality of life. And that is where democracy is at its ultimate,
Yeah.
and capitalism should not be the only solution.
No.
We just do whatever it takes. Singapore turned from third world to first world in 25 years.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I was living in a slum. We were so poor in timber houses, and then we are now like
Yeah,
third wealthiest per
yes.
capita in the world.
World.
Not because of donation or foreign aid, because we create jobs, we unlock the spirit of enterprise of people and their good work ethics.
Yes.
All the wealth is from the person itself. If we have systems that give free things all the time,
It doesn't work.
no.
No. You need
have
to
to
unlock that spirit of
unlock that.
entrepreneur.
Train them,
Yeah.
vocational training, stop the crime, stop the corruption, pay people enough salary so that they don't have to be corrupt.
Yeah, totally. And then if we're taking it a step further, is integrating within all of that is the future, which is what the SDGs are about, and how we
Yes.
can all play our part.
The good thing is the internet is feminine.
Yeah.
And feminine means we facilitate without claiming the credit. The world has been designed masculine.
Enough of that.
Alpha male gorilla. Everybody sucks. I'm the best.
Yes.
This kind of thinking is passe.
It's passe.
We have to forget about this masculine macho. We have to go feminine to say everyone facilitate everyone and everyone grows together.
Yeah.
And then we'll have love, we'll have prosperity, and we'll not live in fear and jealousy and all this stuff.
And we'll all have great toilets too and be happy to talk about our life on the toilet.
And in the toilet, you'll get great ideas.
There you go. Jack, it's a pleasure.